This is ABC7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
He was given the due process in both situations that he was due under the law. And when they made that decision, he had the right to appeal it, which he did, and he lost there as well.
A local police officer relieved of duty after he accidentally killed someone. Now he is fighting for disability. Should he be granted his benefits? Good evening, everyone. I'm Alan Cohn, and welcome to ABC7 at 7. We'll have more on police benefits in a moment. But first, our top 7 stories at 7. After almost a year in office, we are on the brink of President Trump's first big legislative win, the GOP tax plan. But what does it mean for you? Financial advisors believe in the short term, at least, it will benefit most Floridians. Most people will see their income taxes drop an average of 3 to 4%. Others could see a 6 to 7% decrease. Corporations will be seeing the greatest benefit, with the corporate income tax for businesses dropping from 35% to 20%.
Corporations can be more profitable, they can pay their employees more, they can expand more. So that's the whole concept. There is debate if the trickle-down effect actually works or not.
And we'll reinvest that. And the idea that, we're going to light cigars with $100 bills is simply not true. We will use it to acquire other businesses that aren't performing as well. We'll become more efficient, we'll invest, we'll hire people.
Stern says the 3% savings will be short-term. Personal income taxes cuts will sunset. Corporate tax breaks will not. A caregiver convicted of trying to kill a 92-year-old man will spend the next 38 years behind bars. Alina Erickson was convicted of attempted second-degree murder and aggravated abuse of the elderly after pummeling World War II veteran Michael Tristano in the head with his oxygen tank. Tristano was in court today as Erickson was sentenced. Erickson took the stand pleading for leniency.
If you ask him, he will tell you what wonderful care I provided for him, never asking for a dime. But I was obligated because nobody else would step up.
I didn't like her from the beginning, and I didn't trust her motives at all. What does a young woman see in an older man?
The victim flew 35 combat missions in the B-17 bomber during World War II. Nearly 3 dozen people are facing federal charges following a drug bust in Manatee County. Operation Hot Batch saw members of the sheriff's office working with the DEA. The year-long operation resulted in 2.9 kilograms of fentanyl-laced heroin and 2.5 kilos of cocaine being confiscated. Sheriff Rick Wells says the 34 people arrested are drug dealers, not drug users. Fentanyl is a deadly drug.
Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, which is extremely lethal and dangerous and deadly. And just a few grams of this substance can kill one upon just contact or exposure.
At least 20 more people will be charged. Should homeowners in the West Villages neighborhood of Northport get new zip codes? A majority of the development is in the city limits and receives services from Northport, but homes there actually have Venice addresses. The Northport City Commission says about 65,000 people are living in the neighborhood. Northport City Manager expects the post office to respond at the end of January. There's a battle in Tampa over that reward money in the case of the Seminole Heights murders. Homeowners who provided police with surveillance video of the hooded man accused in the string of fatal shootings want a piece of the $100,000 and $10,000 reward. Police in Tampa released the video of the suspect slowly walking down the Seminole Heights street just before an October 9th shooting and running in the opposite direction moments later. The cameras are attached to Patrick and Kelly Holliday's bungalow. The reward money was given to a McDonald's manager who helped break the case when Howell Donaldson handed her a paper bag with a gun inside. The Hollidays say their video put them in danger and helped police. Estimated losses from Hurricane Irma have topped $6.55 billion, with the number of claims approaching 866,000. Nearly 720,000 of those claims filed with the insurance companies from the September storm involved residential properties. While people have several years to file claims, the numbers indicate a gradual slowing in reported damages. The insurance industry has closed 48% of Irma claims with some payment. Another 31% were closed without any payment.
What happened with Hurricane Irma, it was a wake-up call. It got our attention. It could have been so much worse. And if you plan for what's the worst that could happen, you'll always be well off. So hopefully people will take those lessons to heart and say that if it's a strong storm, a bigger storm that we get next season, they'll feel better prepared.
Irma made landfall in September 10th in Monroe and Collier counties, causing widespread destruction and at least 84 deaths in Florida. Now let's head over to ABC7's chief meteorologist, Bob Harrigan, with the first alert forecast. Bob.
Alan, thank you very much. I'm very happy to say the season is over. By the way, looking at the long-range forecast for the upcoming hurricane season in 2018, a lot depends upon El Nino or La Nina. Right now, the chance is at 35% for an above-average season, but it's a long way off, so we can enjoy some cooler temperatures before that happens. 70 degrees right now, though, not too cool out there. We have clear skies, and the dew point temperature and the temperature getting very close to one another. And with the clear skies and light winds, that's always a recipe for fog. We saw that this morning. It's already starting to develop along the coastline from Pinellas County northward all the way through the Big Bend area up toward Panama City. That, I think, will only get worse for us here. We'll see a pretty good chance for fog developing, especially after midnight tonight, when it will thicken up a bit, and it could be a problem for commuters tomorrow morning. So keep that in mind. You may need a little extra driving time as a result of the fog. This one indicating that the fog can be rather thick, beginning around 3:30 and lingering up until about 9 o'clock, and then breaking up over land. However, some models indicating we still may see some sea fog right here along the coastline, and we'll definitely see it coming back on shore around 7 o'clock tomorrow night. So it could be actually worse tomorrow night with that sea fog rolling in. And sometimes that happens as a front approaches, and we do have a cold front that's sliding down right now, but it's not going to make it all the way through and cool us down. Speaking of not cooling us down, temperatures into the upper 60s to low 70s, still 77 degrees in Sebring, 76 in Arcadia.
So no white Christmas, you're saying?
No, but we have a graphic we'll show who may get that. I know some people that live down here go up for Christmas a few days, and believe me, pack your jackets. Cold. A high in Denver, I mean not Denver, a high in Detroit, 16 degrees, 16 on Christmas Day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's bitterly cold.
I hope Santa's jet fuel has de-icing.
Yeah, that's right, de-icing, right.
All right, thanks a lot, Bob. And still to come, should a police officer charged with manslaughter be entitled to disability benefits because he was traumatized by the incident?
To be able to just get my son here and not think about how we will pay for it, it just takes so much weight off of my family. St. Jude allowed me to focus on being a mom to Bryce. And sometimes I'm just in awe of the impact St. Jude has, not only on this community, but the world.
You love your couch and want to protect it from spills, food, and scratching, shedding pets. Introducing Couch Coat, the reversible, washable quilted cover that protects your couch. Shield against spills, wow, stop stains, and dirty pet paws and sharp claws. Plus, it's reversible with 2 stylish colors. Guaranteed to fit any couch up to 92 inches or your money back. It even has covers to protect armrests. Machine washable too.
My grandkids destroy everything, but with Couch Coat, my couch is always protected, looking as good as it did the day I bought it.
Get your Couch Coat for just $19.99, and it's reversible in brown and cream, like 2 couch coats for the price of 1. Order right now, and you can double your offer. Get a second Couch Coat. Just pay a separate fee. Order right now.
Call 1-800-943-0710 to get your couch coat. Call now or go to couchcoat.com. So call 1-800-943-0710. That's 1-800-943-0710. Call now.
It's time to take a road trip.
If you love the beach, Alabama's Gulf Coast has 32 miles of sugar white sand and turquoise water. Looking for a room with a view? We have them. Beachside and bayside. There's incredible history. Whoa! And the seafood is fresh from the Gulf. Another round of shrimp for my friends. Alabama has a road trip with your name on it.
Which one you gonna take?
Everybody can make something. because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
Season's greetings from ABC7 Suncoast View.
A police officer suing his former department for not granting him a disability pension based on post-traumatic stress from an incident in the line of duty. What do you think? Does it make difference that post-traumatic stress incident was at a citizens training academy where the officer shot to death a 73-year-old woman and is now charged with manslaughter? Christopher Brantley has the story.
Good evening. The officer, Lee Cole, is awaiting trial on manslaughter charges. So we wondered, what's the norm here? Should an officer be given disability benefits? Because technically, Cole has yet to be convicted of anything. The night of August the 9th of 2016 started as many nights had. The Punta Gorda Police Department was preparing to hold the Citizens Police Training Academy, something the department had held many times before.
It's a community outreach program to get so that the citizens of our area can know exactly what the police have to deal with on a day-to-day basis.
But the night quickly turned deadly when it came to the shoot, don't shoot scenario meant to put citizens in the role of whether to fire a fake gun on a perpetrator. It all went south. John Wright watched it all.
Within seconds there was 3, maybe 4 loud gunshots.
4 shots rang out. Witnesses say it came from Lee Cole's gun, a silver revolver. 73-year-old Mary Knowlton was killed.
We were unaware that any live ammunition for this particular weapon existed.
The shooting gained national headlines and surprised many in the law enforcement community, including Anthony Shembri, who spent 55 years in law enforcement serving, among other things, as police commissioner in New York.
If you're going to give an officer a gun to make a demonstration, it should be absolutely correct that that gun, number 1, doesn't have a firing pin, or number 2, has blank bullets.
Cole has been charged with manslaughter but hasn't stood trial. In the intervening months, Cole was fired from the department.
He was terminated, he appealed it, and one of the things that they said was that he had no confidence from the community to be a police officer at this point.
Now Cole is seeking disability benefits. Cole claims he suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder, but the Punta Gorda Police Department sees things differently and denied Cole the disability. Sarah Blackwell is a Sarasota attorney specializing in law enforcement.
He was given the due process in both situations that he was due under the law, and when they made that decision, he had the right to appeal it, which he did, and he lost there as well.
Cole is continuing the process of appealing. Shembri told us he's seen a lot in his day, but an officer allegedly killing a civilian during a training exercise is a new one.
I think they should have waited until the criminal charges were over and kept him on administrative leave. That would have been fair to the city and would have been fair to the officer.
Shembri isn't advocating for Lee Cole, but he says waiting until the trial would have allowed the agency to base their decision off the verdict.
That might cause a public outcry. People don't like that. The standard answer is, he's got his rights too.
If convicted on those manslaughter charges, Cole could face up to 30 years in prison. His trial is expected to begin sometime next year. Christopher Brantley, ABC7, your Suncoast News.
Who would be the best experts to break this all down? Maybe a former New York City Commissioner of Corrections and one of Florida's most respected employment attorneys. Would you believe they are both waiting at the trapezoid?
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC filter hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
It changed my life.
Missy Franklin.
And now you can do the same for someone that you love.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now, before it's too late.
Make us swim! I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hi, I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. The president of State College of Florida is bringing some holiday cheer to pediatric centers.
He's delivering toys to kids who can't be home this holiday season. That's tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast. John?
If you've been enjoying these warmer temperatures that we've been having, you'll love the forecast for the upcoming week. We'll talk about it in detail bright and early tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
I'm Anne. I'm a scientist.
Recycling takes a team.
Why don't you let me and me help you out?
Everyone plays a part. Don't trash
I love taking stuff apart and building new things out of it.
what could be treasure.
Pal's my most advanced android. This is awesome. You haven't seen anything yet.
Give your cardboard box another life. Recycle.
Welcome back. It was a horrifying incident that made headlines across the country. A beloved 73-year-old librarian shot dead at the Citizens Training Academy by a police officer holding a gun that should have never had real bullets. Officer Lee Cole was fired and is facing manslaughter charges. Now he is suing his former department, claiming he suffered post-traumatic stress from the incident and should be entitled to a disability pension. Joining us for more is Anthony Shembri, former New York City Corrections Commissioner, former Florida Secretary of Juvenile Justice, and most notably, the basis for the hit television show, The Commish. And Sarah Blackwell, an employment attorney in Sarasota, best known for exposing Disney's efforts to replace American IT workers with foreigners. We scrimp at nothing here at the Trapezoid. I think I have this right from both of you, but correct me if I'm wrong. You're not saying there was anything wrong in terms of the legality of what Punta Gorda did in terms of severing this police officer and making a decision about his benefits, but your position is that they should have waited until after the trial because anything could happen at trial?
Yes, I think he should have waited because under Florida law, Section 782, causing the death of someone by accident or misfortune while performing a lawful act without criminal intent is an excusable homicide.
And as we know, anything could happen at a trial. I mean, but how often, given this kind of fact pattern, would it be likely for the officer maybe not to be found guilty, but to be in a position to reclaim his position?
His charges of manslaughter have nothing to do with the due process and what he is permitted with his job. I mean, what he is required to receive from his job is under a Florida statute, which says he needs a proper investigation, proper notice, he is allowed appeal. It has nothing to do with whether he's charged or convicted with manslaughter. They're two completely separate issues.
But don't we often see cases, whether it's somebody in law enforcement or another line of work, where they are charged criminally with something, found not guilty, and have to go back to the position that they held before?
What they said on appeal, because he appealed it, and what they said on appeal was that he did not have the community trust, which was an essential function of the job. And they said that just because other people or other police officers were involved, that isn't a reason for him to get his job back. They never said that the reason that he lost his job is because of the pending manslaughter charges. I mean, unless there's some information that we don't have, he was terminated completely and wholly separate and unrelated to his manslaughter charge.
In New York, I had 30 days to bring an officer up on charges and fire him and dismiss him. And if I didn't do it in 30 days, he comes back to work, and I got to pay him.
Well, let me ask you two questions. In New York, as opposed to Florida, or maybe it's still true in Florida, is the collective bargaining and union rules, the agreements that the union makes with the municipality,
right.
Do they basically rule on issues like this in terms of what is a fireable offense? I mean, could confidence of the community in and of itself be something that an officer in another jurisdiction could be fired for?
You can't look at that. The question is, there's enough for him to lose his pension, but not, there's enough for him to lose his job, but not his pension. So that's a contract obligation, and that's what you have to look at.
Right. So, Sarah, as far as you can see, where does the process go from here?
As far as his termination, he appealed it, which was his right. After that, if he doesn't agree with the appeal, he has the right to file a writ of certiorari with the court, and the court can either accept it or deny it. I have not seen that he's done that. As far as the disability pension, he applied for that and was denied because the basis of the denial was that he filed for the disability pension after he was already terminated on a non-disability issue. So that was the denial.
Okay. We are just getting warmed up, and we'll have much more on police benefits right after we check the first alert weather. Stay with us.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now, because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now, and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
About every 3 minutes in America, someone is diagnosed with a blood cancer. Light the Night brings together survivors and supporters to bring light to the darkness of cancer and to help fund life-saving research. Our goal is a world without blood cancers, and we're lighting the path to cures. The discoveries made in blood cancer research have led to breakthrough treatments for many cancers and other serious diseases. Help defeat the darkness of cancer. Join Light the Night today.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Zupan, part of the U.S. Paralympic rugby team. In my game, movement is everything. I get frustrated when my move is blocked, especially when that guy has no right to be there, even just for a minute. I love a challenge, but I don't like to play this game every day.
A message from the United Spinal Association.
Our conversation continues right after we get a check on the first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan.
Alan, beautiful out there today after the fog burn off, and this is from Casey Key webcam from 3 o'clock onward, and you can see a lot of sunshine, beautiful beach weather, and calm conditions out there in the waters. Look at this gorgeous sunset too, and things still pretty nice out there. And we are looking at the viewer photos sent in. This was right around the same time the sun was going below the horizon there at Casey Key, and Siesta, S is on Siesta. Ed Levine sending this in. Beautiful shot of Siesta Key right there, and boy, a lot of rain to the north of us. Some showers and occasional thunderstorm not out of the question in Arkansas there. You see bigger storms. This is all associated with an area of low pressure, which is going to basically stay to the north. Now, it will swing a weak front our way, but it's not going to do much to our weather. You can see that low pressure area now over Texas and parts of Oklahoma. High pressure dominating our weather with clear skies, warm temperatures as a result of east to southeasterly wind flow around that high pressure. Evening planner looks good. Just some areas of fog forming late tonight. 66 for your low temperature at 11 o'clock. 70 right now. The dew point temperature is 67, just 3 degrees shy from being 100% right now. And the humidity barometer rising, 3017, and that is high. Winds are light out of the northwest. The high today was well above average. 80 degrees, our normal high 73, the record 84. And it looks though we'll see warm temperatures continuing even despite this front that gets close to us tomorrow and Thursday mainly, and it kind of washes out before it gets to us. Boy, the rainfall for the year, we're going to be well above average to end December and the whole year, I should say. For December, we're at 1.05 inches. That's slightly below the average. Now, as far as the current fog conditions goes, these are reporting stations and some of the models indicating with the current conditions we could be seeing some fog from Pinellas County northward. We're starting to see a little bit of roll into Manatee County, also into Sarasota County, but visibility is still okay right now. But I think advisories will more than likely be issued once again late tonight by the National Weather Service for visibility problems out there. And it looks as though the forecast models are suggesting a pretty good area of fog developing. By 3 o'clock, it should be rather thick and continuing up until just after sunrise, and then kind of hanging off out there in the Gulf of Mexico, and then working its way back on tomorrow night and Thursday morning. It could be rather thick out there. Temperatures currently 60s and 70s, now 74 in Orlando, 77 now into Miami, and currently the Gulf water temperature at 71. Temperatures all in the low 70s to mid 70s, while inland the forecast model is showing some clouds and showers well to the north of us, kind of rotating around that area of high pressure. Here comes the front. Not much to it, a slight chance for a shower or two, but the rain chance less than 20%. Elsewhere across the U.S., well, things are starting to get a little colder over the northern plains. Minot at 19, Minneapolis at 30. And as far as snow on the ground, Alan, we talked about this earlier. Michigan snow there, so they'll have a white Christmas into New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. And then as far as the forecast goes, it's going to get some snow is going to fall all the way down into Illinois and to Indiana and Ohio and Pennsylvania. So they will too see a white Christmas, and not here in Florida though. Just the white sands of Siesta Key and all of our area beaches. For boaters, south winds at 10 knots, a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The seas will be running less than 2 feet. The water temperature at 71. Tides upcoming on your screen. The next high tide 11:58 and sunrise at 7:15. Mostly fair, more fog, and 63 for your low, so that's warm. And then tomorrow, fog burns off, revealing partly cloudy skies, warm temperatures, inland areas, low 80s there. And then the first day of winter, full day, is Friday. It arrives Thursday morning and gets warmer on the first full day. Al will be back with his guests right after this. Stick around.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. Already posted it.
ABC7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Watch ABC7 wherever you are, on our live stream, on mysuncoast.com, on the ABC7 My Suncoast app, powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life, featuring traffic maps and live radar, dining with recipes, and My Suncoast Restaurant Guide. Visit mysuncoast.com. Click on the Apps tab to download the ABC7 My Suncoast app for Apple and Android.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential. There's no cost and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter hotline if your loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
It's a blue Christmas on the Suncoast. I'm Stephanie Roberts. On Suncoast View, we chat with Elvis from Florida Studio Theater's new show, Blue Suede Shoes. One of our favorite Suncoast realtors is a new dad. He will share about his international adoption experience, plus a preview of the gorgeous lights at Selby Gardens. And Chef Judy has restaurants open for Christmas in the kitchen.
Tomorrow at 4 on Suncoast View.
Welcome back. Should a fired Punta Gorda police officer charged with gunning down an elderly woman at a police training academy get disability pension for PTSD as a result of the incident? Joining us for more is Anthony Shrembry, former New York City Corrections Commissioner and former Florida Secretary of Juvenile Justice, and Sarah Blackwell, an employment attorney in Sarasota, best known for exposing Disney's efforts to replace American IT workers with foreigners. And Commissioner, let me ask you this. I mean, have you been in a position, especially when you were in New York, whether you had to put an officer back on the job who had not only just broken department rules, but maybe faced legal sanctions?
Yes, we under the contract rules, we had 30 days. We had to bring him up on charges, prove it, and convict him within 30 days. If not, he gets returned to duty with his pay.
Right. And Sarah, how would you describe what Punta Gorda did here in terms of Officer Cole, in terms of how quickly they moved and how legally binding you think this is going to be?
For the termination or the disability?
Both.
Well, for the termination, they did an investigation. I mean, the incident took place in 2016. He wasn't terminated until 2017. It seems like they did a complete investigation. When the officer appealed it, to my knowledge, he didn't say that there was anything wrong done in the investigation. He was provided the notice about his termination, and then he had the right to appeal, which he did, and he lost the appeal. So I believe that that was all done properly. As far as the disability, he was denied as being unqualified. They never, as far as my understanding, they never got to the actual merits of the case, like does he have post-traumatic stress, and does it qualify under the statute to give him disability pension? It doesn't seem like they even got that far.
You were saying when we were in the break that the issue here is first he tried to get his job back, and then when he didn't, he claimed disability, that he could not perform the duties of a police officer, and that weakens his appeal at this point and his legal action going forward.
Right, even if he could bring a disability claim, to qualify, he has to show that he's wholly prevented from acting as an officer and that his disability is continuous and permanent. And he's claiming post-traumatic stress as his disability. But after he was terminated, he appealed it and said, no, wait, I want to work, I can work. And then when he lost that, he's filing for disability, saying, I qualify and I'm wholly prevented from actually doing the job, and it's continuous and permanent. So that's going to be a really hard argument to make.
Anthony, I would imagine that there's a good number of people who are watching this conversation tonight who say, look, this officer may have messed up. You know, he is going to face criminal charges in a trial, presumably later this year. But you know what? He was a hardworking police officer who put his life on the line, and no matter what is done in terms of the legal system, why are you taking his pension away from him?
Well, you know, when it comes to post-traumatic stress incapability, I can understand that. I've been with officers and families when they've cried a river of tears taking somebody's life by accident. So my sympathy goes out to him, even when you kill somebody that's justifiable. But killing a totally innocent person, you know, my sympathy goes out to the officer when it comes to that. I can understand that, but certainly there was some culpable negligence here. Someone handing him a loaded gun with wad cutters instead of blank bullets.
You know, we were talking about this before the show, and I know you read up on my background, and I went to the FBI Citizens Academy up in Tampa, which has a similar type of shoot, no shoot drill, but it's done in a simulator. Your point is that a lot of these local police departments are trying to do this because it's, you know, it's good community involvement, but you question about whether some departments should be doing this on a really local level.
I think looking at how many shootings they have and the reaction that the community has would warrant such a program. I don't know why they would do something in small departments. These kind of shoot, don't shoot programs should really be done in large departments where the community is outraged over excessive use of force, shootings, Chicago, LA, New York. Those are the kinds of programs that help you deal with the community by showing that the decision to shoot and use force, deadly force, is something that it's a hard thing to determine.
Can I
Sure.
just say, nothing's been taken from him. He applied for it and didn't receive a disability pension. We're not talking just about a general pension. We're talking about disability, so nothing was taken. But this is a police officer who was fired from another police department because of 2 excessive force problems. Then he also, at this police department, had stopped someone on a bicycle, sent the canine dog after him, and the department ended up paying $60,000 of our tax money because of this. And then over $2 million went to the family of this poor woman who died. I mean, that's a lot of money we've already spent out, and now he wants more money because of his sadness.
Let me ask you this question. How can you take into consideration, in terms of this process, because of this case, prior bad acts, whether it is in his department in Punta Gorda or elsewhere where he has served? I believe he served in South Florida.
Take into account for the termination, for sure, but for the disability, I wouldn't think it would come into
How often do you come across cases, whether or not it's you're defending a law enforcement officer or a police department that is trying to terminate them, or in other lines of work where these kinds of issues come up?
Well, it usually comes up in the due process aspect of whether or not the employee is getting the rights that they are due under the law. Generally, employees are employees at will. They are not given any rights. They can be fired for any reason as long as it's not an illegal reason. But for government workers and for police officers, they do have what's called a property right in their job, and it can't be taken away without due process. So the police officer likes to make sure that their rights are being protected, and the police department needs to know that they're doing everything by the book.
Anthony, we only have a couple of moments left in this segment, but how are the rules changing in many police departments, given how labor agreements change and police departments are going back and forth with unions?
Well, the DNA of policing is changing. We once fought crime, now we protect and serve. We once trained police officers to use deadly physical force, now we teach them when not to. We train in self-defense, now we train on de-escalation. So what's happening in policing is a time of change. So there is also a theory of culpability here called negligent retention. You negligently retain an officer, as Sarah said, that has a history of these kinds of things. You open your community to lawsuits here.
Right, and apparently you talked about bad acts beforehand. Maybe that is what the situation was in this case. We shall see. We have to take a quick break, and we'll be back for final thoughts in a moment.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off
off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251, 800-628-1251.
Download the all-new ABC7 First Alert Weather app now.
There's nothing like this trail in Alabama. It just goes from the northern part of the state to the southern part of the state. We see all kind of different terrains, great value, great fun. We've been coming for 18 years. We started off with a group of 8, grew to 12, and grew to 16. And we love it because where else can you get world-class golf courses with world-class accommodations? To be able to play these type of courses in this environment, and the difficulty keeps us coming back over and over and over again.
A decade of war has taken an unprecedented toll on our men and women in uniform.
Hundreds of thousands of our veterans are suffering from the trauma of war.
At Justice for Vets, we believe that every veteran should have the opportunity for treatment and restoration.
Get involved and go to justiceforvets.org.
Help put treatment within reach of veterans in crisis.
Veterans fought for our freedom. Now it's our turn to fight for theirs.
Hi, I'm Chef Bob. Watch Aprons in the Kitchen every Wednesday morning on ABC7, where we'll be serving up the most awesome dishes. Then stop by your neighborhood Publix, pick up the recipe card and all the ingredients.
And our guests join us right now for final thoughts. And Sarah, so you now have 2 legal tracks. You have a criminal charge and a manslaughter charge that is pending a trial this year, but you also have Officer Cole's appeal and lawsuit against the police department.
For the disability pension, right, and they're totally separate. They have nothing to do with one another. The standards that need to be shown are totally different. So regardless of how the disability pension works out for him, the manslaughter charge to me should be the most important thing to him, because they will have to show culpable negligence beyond a reasonable doubt, which is culpable negligence is not that high, I don't think.
Right. But even if he is found not guilty of that, that will have no bearing on his disability pension.
No, I don't believe it has anything to do with that, no.
Anthony, I know that you have a lot of opinions about the changing nature of law enforcement, but what does it say to you that Punta Gorda has hired a new police chief that starts next month, and she comes from a department where she was the head of police training?
Well, the best way to improve an organization is by improving its participants. So I like that. I like when someone comes in and using new training tactics that are more suited to what the community believes in and what they want from their police department.
Well, obviously, the folks in Punta Gorda have really gone through the ringer in the last year or so. So we thank you both for the conversation tonight. Before we go, we want to share with you what some of you had to say about last night's show on the double standard with sexual harassment. When people in the entertainment industry get accused of sexual harassment, they're often fired from their jobs immediately, whether it be Matt Lauer or Louis C.K. But in politics, when they are accused, an investigation is done and they get to continue working. Is this fair? We went to Facebook to hear your opinions. And Vicky says it needs to be done exactly as it is done in the real world to us real people. No one is above the law. Penny says definitely a double standard. I believe innocent until proved guilty. That is the way I was raised. However, having suffered through put out or lose your job, I'm not as objective as I should be, and I would like to see all of them suspended with no pay or power until they are exonerated or found guilty. And then there is Bill, who says, I wonder when someone will demand that we take down the statue of the sailor or the nurse because it glorifies a famous sexual assault. Some of the allegations are getting ridiculous, such as he asked for my phone number or he leered at me. Bill, really? Do you have a wife? Do you have a daughter? Bet you might feel a little bit differently if they came to you with the same kind of stories so many women only now are bringing forward. This is a serious issue, and it's time for people like you to take it seriously. If you'd like to join the conversation about tonight's topic, just visit our Facebook page at facebook.com/mysuncoast.com.abc7. And FYI, you can watch past discussions on demand. They're available on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and Roku. And for the latest on local late-breaking news, don't forget to download the updated version of our app. If your current app doesn't work, it's expired. Just go to the App Store and re-download it by searching for WWSB or My Suncoast. We want to thank our guests for being here tonight. Anthony Chambry is the former New York Police or City Commissioner of Corrections and former Florida Secretary of Juvenile Justice, and Sarah Blackwell is an employment attorney in Sarasota, best known for exposing Disney's efforts to replace American IT workers with foreigners. When we return, we'll have our consumer watchdog, Jerry Zivick, here, plus an update on the GOP tax plan.
If you're between 50 and 85 years old, call the number on your screen right now for free information on how to save your family thousands of dollars. We're Family Love Plans, and we've been helping families just like yours for over 30 years. The average funeral today can cost up to $10,000 or more, but the most you'll get from government benefits is just $255. How will your family pay the difference? At Family Love Plans, we can help you and your family. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam and your plan can't be canceled. Better still, your rate will never go up and your benefits will never go down. Get your free information about our senior plans. Just answer a few simple questions and receive approval right over the phone.
Call 1-800-707-3608. That's 1-800-707-3608.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-307-2040 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you the #1 mistakes retirees are making with their investments today, and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-307-2040 to have your free information kit rushed to your door. Again, that's 800-307-2040.
Your primetime headlines are coming up in a moment, but first, companies are advertising at-home DNA test kits, promising intriguing insights into our past, like where your ancestors came from. But are the results private and for your eyes only? And here to talk about that and more is ABC7 consumer watchdog Jerry Zivick. The concern here, Jerry, is this really any different than if sometimes you have to take DNA tests, like when your wife becomes pregnant and you're going through that kind of thing, or DNA is out there. Aren't we at risk anytime samples like that are taken?
No. If you're doing something in a medical setting, that is protected by HIPAA. When you're calling up one of these companies that is going to track your ancestry, that is not covered by HIPAA. So basically, you're giving them your social security number on steroids if you're giving them this.
So there are no legal protections. These companies are not required by any law not to divulge this kind of information?
Absolutely not. And what they're doing is they're reselling your data to third parties. So your DNA is going to be used for research or any kind of other product that they want to use it for. And what's going to happen is this DNA sample is going to be sold to insurance companies. So if you're going to be applying for life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance, you're going to have a problem.
And that is the whole ball of wax right there, because we are concerned about our personal private information getting sold to insurance companies who could then what you're talking about in terms of whether you have some kind of illness that you may yourself not even know about. And are you saying on a routine basis these companies that we see advertised every single day are doing that right now?
Absolutely, and it's only going to get worse. Our DNA can be put away, frozen. There's language when you click on most of these sites that you're giving them access to that sample of DNA in perpetuity. They can get royalties in perpetuity. You license this in perpetuity, and even within the company themselves, they're having people that are checking the DNA for marketing or trying to enhance their service. Who knows who these people are? They can take that DNA sample and do God knows what with it.
Next question, medical research?
Sure, it can be used for medical research, and which is a very nice thing. But let's say your DNA sample cures a rare and exotic disease. So that company will make a lot of money. The company that you gave the sample to will make a lot of money, and now, you won't.
Right. And so, I mean, are they getting our permission and all the fine print to do just that? And is there an ability to say to these companies, yes, I want to know my background, but I don't want you to use this for other reasons?
The fine print, nobody can read the fine print. Most nobody can understand the fine print. The only way to be safe is actually not to do it.
Okay. Well, here's the other question. Who, if anyone, in government is regulating this kind of business and preventing things from happening that should not happen?
Absolutely. There's only one regulation out there, and that regulation prevents an employer from using your genetic information with respect to applying for health insurance. But that regulation is so porous, there are ways around it. The health insurance company can ask you, the employee, if you've ever had genetic testing. And if you don't answer honestly, you're going to lose your insurance.
Oh my. Jerry, thank you very much. Jerry joins us every other Tuesday in our For Your Benefit segment. Stay tuned. We'll be back with primetime headlines in a moment.
Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Make your holidays sparkle with style. Browse our amazing showroom, cute collectible cottages, and beautiful Christmas displays. Find the inspiration, selection, and quality you need to deck the halls merry and bright. Christmas Traditions also features the area's largest selection of quality pre-lit Christmas trees, every size, shape, and color, and plenty of decorations to make your home shine for the holidays. Christmas Traditions by Lux Art Silks, where more is merrier. Visit us on New 301, just a quarter-mile north of University Parkway.
If you're only hungry for a slice of apple pie, why buy the whole pie? And you certainly wouldn't want to pay for an all-you-can-eat buffet. So if you don't use your cell phone that much, why get charged for a plan that's too big, or even an unlimited plan? Luckily, there's still a wireless company that shares your values. Welcome to Consumer Cellular. Our average customer pays about $25 a month for everything they need. Many pay even less, as plans start at just $15 a month. You'll get a straightforward bill that's easy to understand with no surprises and all the attention you deserve from our friendly customer service team. No wonder Consumer Cellular has received the J.D. Power Award for highest customer service 3 times in a row. Plus, if you're an AARP member, you'll receive special discounts. It's easy to switch. You can even keep your phone and your number. So stop paying for more than you need and start your 30-day risk-free trial today.
Call 800-457-2317.
Go online or visit a Target store today.
This is an important medical announcement. Xarelto and Pradaxa have been linked to uncontrollable bleeding and even death. If you've been prescribed one of these drugs and have experienced these dangerous side effects, you may be entitled to substantial compensation. Studies show that Pradaxa can cause more heart attacks than warfarin, and other countries have already issued safety warnings against this drug. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. The call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to Pradaxa victims, and thousands of Xarelto victims are filing their legal cases. Call the Drug Watch hotline if you or a loved one used Xarelto or Pradaxa and experienced uncontrollable bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or even death. You must call now.
Call 800-793-6055. 800-793-6055.
Checking primetime headlines, Republican leaders on Capitol Hill are one step away from a major change in tax policy. The House passed the final version of the bill this afternoon. The Senate is next. ABC's Kenneth Moten has the latest from Washington.
The House with the historic vote.
The conference report is adopted,
passing the largest tax reform bill in decades.
Today, we are giving the people of this country their money back.
The bill met with applause and protest in the House chamber.
And have them escorted from the House chamber.
A day of political maneuvering, speeches, and large poster boards on Capitol Hill. Congressional GOP leaders one step away from giving President Trump his first major legislative win.
Priority number one is middle-class Americans. That has been this administration's focus.
Democrats pointing to a new analysis that says in a decade, 70% of the middle class will see a tax hike, 76% of the wealthiest a tax cut.
This is the worst bill to ever come to the floor of the House, with stiff competition.
Now it's the Senate's turn. All Republicans expected to vote yes for the bill that permanently slashes the corporate rate from 35 to 21%, a move they say will spur economic growth.
I think the American people are going to begin to feel that the country is moving again after 8 years of relative stagnation.
Republicans will rue the day that they passed this tax bill. Rue the day, because it's so unfair to the middle class.
The Senate is expected to vote and pass this tax bill late tonight, but in a last-minute twist, Democrats say 3 provisions in the tax plan violate Senate rules and will need to be removed, forcing the House to re-vote tomorrow. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, Washington.
More information on the train accident yesterday, which killed 3 people and injured over 100 people. It happened as the train careened around a curve at a nearby nearly 3 times the speed limit, hurling passengers off an overpass and onto the highway below. An official says it is not yet clear why the train was going 80 miles per hour in the 30-mile-per-hour zone. The agency says positive train control, which automatically slows down and stops a speeding train, was not activated. In battle, Kentucky State Representative Dan Johnson was laid to rest yesterday, days after he took his own life. The hearse carrying Johnson's body was surrounded by friends and family as it left the heart of the Fire Church in Louisville, where he was pastor. Johnson took his life Wednesday, one day after denying allegations of arson and sexual abuse of a former teen church member. On Thursday, his widow announced that she is going to run for his now vacant seat. Walt Disney World reopened its Hall of Presidents exhibit in Orlando today, and President Trump is now there in all his glory, sort of. A new robotic version of Mr. Trump is making its debut. All American presidents are represented, and each one delivers an address. Mr. Trump personally recorded the remarks exclusively for Disney, something every sitting president has done since the 1990s. In his speech, Robo-Trump talks about the spirit of the American people. No mention of Crooked Hillary and Rocket Man. Just joking. That's all the time we have for this evening. I'm Alan Cohn. Thanks for joining us. Good night.